Ladies and gentlemen, it's Pernell here to teach you modern astrology as an education form and get you closer to that place of healing. And for me, healing is something that's an ongoing linear process. All right, it's never nothing that you attain, nothing that you hit as a high point. This Venus star point, though, which is happening in Libra, October 22nd, very soon, right before the solar eclipse, meaning the sun is blocked out in Scorpio. I want to help you understand what that means, why it's important. This is right in alignment with the Venu Cazimi. Okay, so you have the sun, excuse me, and Venus both going to be at 29 degrees. These are both critical degrees. 29 degrees degree of Leo. Leo is dignified in his sun. It's his home place. So that's the sun in 29 degrees, but with the Libra's influence and focus. You also have Venus going at its critical and karmic degree. This is some real life fated measure of love, the advancements of what makes you unique as a lover within your own love life. As we get ready to, the sun and Venus will go 0 degrees in Scorpio the next day, okay, October 23rd. What makes this very different, in my personal opinion, is like, this has a much more of a feminine vibe and touch to it, especially with Scorpio going in. So Libra itself is a masculine sign, right? But it's in the home, it's a masculine energy in the home of Venus. So last time I believe something like this happened in this exact alignment was like 1770. All right, we're talking things like, I don't know the musicians to be precise, but we're talking people like Mozart, Chopin, people in that era where, you know, the world was changing on a musical level, on a what we consider beautiful when it comes to arts and museums, everything that Libra is about when it comes to like where might you want to go when you date, what might you value within somebody that is not just aesthetically pleasing and beautiful, but you know, it brings a certain sense of peace and harmony within your soul. So when I think about a Venus star point or even this Venus Cazimi, first off, you're gonna get any Cazimi, you're gonna get tremendous synchronicity. So you're already feeling it right now. When I record this, today is the 19th of October. So in 3 more days is actually when it hits. And I will give it like, to be honest, the fact that there's an eclipse right on top of it, okay, a Scorpio eclipse, after there's already been a series this year of Scorpio eclipses, right? There's like 4 eclipses between Scorpio and Taurus back and forth, and there's gonna be more in 2023. So this is kind of an ongoing story, but here's what makes it different. This particular Venus Cazimi, as well as Venus Star Point, is starting a new 8-year cycle. And love, how you value money, what you value about money, how can you bring your values of money to a more divinely just position, which means something like, are you going to charge somebody something that you don't do yourself, right? That's not, that value system is going to be completely out of alignment. And the fact that Venus and the sun, okay, Venus in Scorpio and Libra in Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio and the sun in Scorpio will be happening the next day at 0 degrees. It's authentic signature, which is like almost like 2 Venus Cazimis, okay? It's like a Venus Cazimi in Libra and it's like a Venus Cazimi in Scorpio. I don't know. I personally have not seen this before, so I can't speak about what's the precise and exact factor. But what I do know is that this is considered something called a super conjunct, okay? A super conjunction. And that's the fact that you have 29 degrees on the sun and Venus. So this is a super conjunction, which means that these 2 energies are naturally going to understand each other, and we're going to naturally understand what is our authority and our power in a more balanced fashion in our romance and our love and our relationships. Because the fact that it's happening at 29 degrees, you still have to add that Leo-esque component. And last night I had in my dreams, and it was straight prophecy, and now I know I'm here to talk to you about a personal story in my life about when I had my progressed moon in Leo. And I think this is back in like 2018, and I was living in Thailand. I was living in Chiang Mai, Thailand. And I have found that divine counterpart, right? If you look at astrocartography, for me, the line of Thailand, Chiang Mai, Thailand specifically, is where the sun and the moon, I think, are, they're like sun-moon lines, okay? It could have been sun-ascendant line. I forget, but I do remember that specifically it talked about how I'm merging, in 2018, Thailand, my feminine and my masculine energy. Now, my dream, it literally came to me and said, Leo rising, find the Leo rising. And I went, and like none of these, the last years, because I got specific dates, 2015, 2018, 2019. And 2018 is when it was. I'm lying to you. I'm so sorry. 2019, but that matters less right now. 2019 is when it was. That's when I was in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Okay. And I met a divine counterpart, somebody I had a karmic contract with, a woman, who basically brought me back to the divinity. Now, Venus star point, or this Venu Cazimi, what it's showing you is what were the traumas in your life. So, and on top of that, where was I in that stage of my life, right? It was trying to show me where have I, prior to that date, prior to 2019, how have I fell for the Eros type of love. Now, my Eros is in Sagittarius, for example, so it's like, it's a very fleeting, right? Fire, sparks, passion, give me everything you got in 2 days, right? With a capacity, a cap point of like 6 months, and the relationship will end. So that's like the Eros type of love, rather than like a friendship love. Now, this particular relationship, all right, this karmic contract I had, this karmic relationship I had with this person who was a Leo rising, and when I really looked at it, I was like, oh, there it goes, and my moon's in Leo. It's like this Venus Cazimi is showing us, and it's not just the Venus in Libra, it's the fact that Venus is going right the next day to 0 degrees in Scorpio. So it's that's the part where it's asking us to look at where have the psychological games have been played, or how has even sex been used as forms of manipulation. These are lower levels of Scorpio energies, right? This is the type of stuff that people only believe that Scorpio is about. But this is a lower level of Scorpio energies, but I have to understand, and I really have to start going back, like one of my parents has their Venus in Scorpio, okay? We're starting to see some synchronicities. So it's like me growing up under the values of a Scorpio, where that Scorpio Venus was not in its higher forms. It was actually, quite frankly, in its very hurt forms, but I am now a kid, right? I'm a kid now going through divorce, going through infidelity, not me, but parents, right? These are the things that happen. So it's like, well, these are the traumas that are also being implemented into my young adult, my young childhood, if you will. And it shaped the structures of what did I value and how did I learn to date and relate, right? And so it's like really making me, and I think for everybody, come to these, well, what were the power dynamics in relationships, okay? And what were the weaknesses and even the addictions in love? And I say both because Venus will show not just what's harmonious, love is, or amorous, but Venus is still invisible right now. So do keep that in mind. So with it being invisible, it's like we're not going to be able to see the full potency of what's happening. And then the next day after the Venus Cazimi, after this Venus star point, we're going to go into Scorpio, which is already secretive, invisible, private, and doesn't really want to be seen other than with people who it has decided to merge with at a very deep and intimate level. And this is one thing we have to remember, that Scorpio is all about deep, intimate merging of things, possessions, love, energy, bodies, divinity. Scorpio wants to merge absolutely everything. And it's like, I have to look at where did my desire for myself, okay, to merge everything happen at a premature level. And this Venus star point started a new 8-year cycle where we ended this 8-year cycle back in January 8th. So January 8th, we had our last Venus in Capricorn. It was in retrograde on top of that. But Venus in Cap is, during that time frame, I found myself actually talking to the same woman, and I was getting ready to go back into one of those toxic cycles, but I wasn't, because I kind of knew off the rip, like, that something was different this time. And this is Venus in Capricorn. So I want you to look back to January this year, when you have Venus in Capricorn, what was happening in your relationships or the things you valued, okay, while it's in Capricorn. Venus in Cap doesn't play games, okay? It literally will value getting rid of everything within relationships that is not effective. All right, it has all the information given from Virgo. It's very stable from Taurus, the Earth prior, and then the final is Capricorn, right? Where it's like there's the last Venus star point, natural exaltation in Mars. So it has somewhat of a combination. It's the feminine push and final destruction. Back January this year, it was the feminine push and final destruction of what is not effective in my relationships. And this would be things like mind games, I don't do it. These are things like liars, I don't do it. These are things like cheating and infidelity, I don't do it. And it's like Venus in Cap, January 8th, it really matters to this one now because that ended a 8-year cycle, okay? This is magical, okay? 8-year cycle, magical. Prior to that, I mean, I was how old am I now? I forget my age. But I was like young 20s, right? And so now we have a new time to start a new 8-year cycle with this Venus star point, okay? And depending on what your rising sign is, or depending on your sun sign, this will matter. This will change for you differently, right? For me, as an Aries, okay, this is about one of the things I had to learn, and it's gonna be different for each person. So do take this with a grain of salt. This is about me now allowing and even, promoting that my partner, in a sense, has to work to earn a position personally in my life. Now, I don't mean work to be a slave. I don't mean work to, to prove themselves. But in some ways, it's absolutely that, and that's what the Venus star point happened in January was about. Okay, and Capricorn is like, look, I'm not going to give you nothing. Okay, I have the resources, I have the value, I have the money, I have the status, I have the fame, I have the reputation, but I'm not going to give it to you, especially if you didn't earn it. And this is when back January, this last interaction, I remember in January, I swear to God, I remember having that last interaction where this person, this twin flame connection, right? This karmic relationship, bringing the divinity of masculine and feminine back into me through whatever traumatic instances and problems, things I had going on. In January, I was able to come to the full value, and being at the top of the mountain, Capricorn, the value of, damn, I'm really grateful for you. Like, I can actually officially let you go, even though I have not even seen you in like 3 years in physical reality. I can physically let you go because I truly value, what you have reminded me of. As for the divinity, the value, the efficiency, the status, the love, the money, all of it, the worth within myself. And so now that allows me in my current partnership, right? Now you have Venus in the start point. I found myself today, before this all hit, because my dreams, they were interpreting, but they didn't hit hard yet. Before it all hit today, I found myself today saying to my partner, wow, oh my God, you are so lovable. You are so easy to love. You are so easy to love. And this is one of the things where, like, when I look at it, I think I'm like 6 to 7 months being my partner at this time frame, right? Where instead of this being a time frame where problems start, right? Where this past letting go, self-known Scorpio, letting go, it's now where, like, the issues that wanted to rise up during Virgo season, while, Virgo is very fucking picky and critical, right? Those that wanted to rise up, it helped me to realize these are the things, these are the mental thoughts, mental patterns that I'm officially surrendering. These are the hopes and dreams about whatever fantasy or fairy tale version of love, they're being let go. And instead now, it's like, wow, you are so lovable, right? And it's like, it's now getting to the point where this is starting from this 6, 7 months forward, a, tremendous story, a tremendous romance, and a tremendous sense of not just valuing the romance from the Libran standpoint, which is where it starts, but also from the merging in the Scorpio. Okay, this Venu Cazimi is going to go into the Scorpio. The star point starting 8 years worth of Scorpio. And this is the simplicity of it's like, wow, my partner's a witch and I'm a shaman. And the synchronicities of a Cazimi will just start placing things. Stay very alert and don't stay busy to be busy during this phase. All right, around October 22nd, understand that a Scorpio eclipse is getting powerful, okay? Like, the moon is in its detriment or fall in Scorpio. Understand that. We're going to have Venus there, which is also in its exile, right? And it's like, Venus in Scorpio is this is the sorcerer, this is the witch, but the witch who might, in its low energies, cast spells on you, black magic on you. And I faced that. And I had to let go of that earlier this year. I faced that. I almost found myself getting involved with someone who much prefer, with that Venus and Scorpio energy, to be that black magic witch in my life, rather than what I actually value. And it's like, what I actually value, Venus, is that it's the harmony. Honestly, like, I'm a very harmonious person. Like, it's only the fact that I have a T-square in my natal chart among other different squares with different things that, creates a certain amount of tension, not to hold me back, not to hinder me, but for me to be the great leader that I am. Because masculine energy needs challenge in order to grow. And if it doesn't, it will become mundane and stagnant. and that's not who I am and never who I will be. So squares and oppositions and T-square, these are never bad. This is the sign of the basis of a great leader who needs a certain sense of opposition to grow and expand. So, really, I hope this story, I want to kind of keep it there and help you really say, like, how can you maximize this energy? One, don't be busy to be busy, okay? At bare minimum, be productive. Check back January and when Venus is in Capricorn retrograde and realize, like, what was the reflection trying to show you? I just gave it to you for what it was for me. And now understand that you're getting ready to start a new love cycle. So you might feel hot and heavy. You want to jump into something quick. To be honest, I want to say, really, I'm not doing forecasts on this message. This is, I only gave it to you for Aries so far. Where it's like, if you're in Aries, I can tell you that Aries rising, Aries sun, Aries moon, wherever it is, that, it's time to let that person earn, the love and the light and the power. And that's me. I can say that for a fact, me as an Aries. If you're a Scorpio, I really feel like it's about letting go. I'm a Scorpio rising. It's about letting go of, the old baggage, the old narrative that we received from our parents, and realize that, it's not for them to lead us from this point forward as adults, right? It's officially our responsibility. It's my responsibility to go ahead and give back, okay? To give back to my parents, if anything, by showing as an example of, hey, look at me. Not from an egoic standpoint. Now, this is the key, right? Not look at me, I'm better than you now. No, like, thank you. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom. Like, honestly, because of you, I am flourishing. And I am rewriting intergenerational traumas, Scorpio. As they rise up, I am recreating the new merge and how Scorpio merges, okay? So this eclipse is coming and it's becoming a lot more clear. It's like coming up in like, October 25th, the Scorpio solar eclipse. So, I hope this Venus Cazimi helped. Other than that, Libra, you're going to have very new, fresh ideas, very new, fresh pushes in relationships and friendships, okay? Your connections are going to be something that, you're going to recognize very clearly who are your associates and who are your actual friends, who are your true friends. You're going to look at, who do you love from a puppy love standpoint, and who do you love from a place that, like, look, I want this shaman and this witch to really work together, to reach those more divine forms of love, which generally has a purpose. All right, you're going to start looking at this and start letting go of things like twin flames. Like this for me is one of them. It's like, look, the twin flame is only here to bring back the masculine and the feminine to merge back in unison within me, my own feminine and my own masculine. And my feminine was suffering for a long time. I cut that thing off. It was what it was, and then my masculine was bruised in all of its own ways, and my feminine was bruised. And it's about honoring in this stage. What were those bruises? What were they trying to show me as Scorpio rises them up in the South Node and allow me to officially go ahead and surrender them, and start anew, because this is a new moon eclipse, right? At the end of the day, it's like, hey, I get to start fresh. I get to start new. But the key is, are you doing your shadow work? Am I doing my shadow work? And like, I really truly feel like I am. And as a part of that, like, I feel like if you haven't already doing it, you're going to see this eclipse as one of the most glorious times in your life. Honestly, that's how I feel. I'm like, yo, you know what? At one point, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared for this shit earlier. But the only reason I was scared is because I wasn't prepared, because I wasn't doing my inner deep work. So I feel like if you're doing that, then you're gonna be in a position where, you don't have to be afraid no more. My guys have told me very clearly, it's like, don't be afraid of the dark. So I'm gonna tell you the same thing as an extension. Do not be afraid of the dark. This is a beautiful, beautiful time. Ask questions, please. I'm beginning Astro membership soon. If you could check my Astro services, it says Blast of Hope. All right, it's in the description. It's pinned up in the comments. It's pinned up in the live chat if I premiere this. Membership is starting later in like November. But other than that, you're able to book an Astro therapy session with me. Now's the time for therapy. It's a time for deep occult work. I recently got my Akashic records read. It's a time to look into your past lives. It's time to look into your past lives and ask your guides to go ahead and release some of your karma, because this is a very karmic time frame. All right, this is a time for introspection, reflection, and to let go of certain past lives. Like, I had to, see what in my past life. I watched witches be hanged. I have these memories. I watched myself tell people of incoming and impeding danger, and I had to be the only child to run away while everyone else I knew and loved died. Looking through these past lives, and as I see stuff like that, I realize, like, it doesn't matter what I say or what I don't say. Like, I have to go ahead and be my authentic and passionate self and still give that warning out and be willing to let somebody die that didn't want to listen. Like, right, I am an Aries. I have to start really honoring and valuing. Like, look, I am the first to see what the fuck goes on. This is what it means to be an Aries. I see the first threat. And I know whether it's worth going to war and leading head first or saying, no, this is a time to retreat. And this is about the same thing of knowing when to fucking, digest and indulge in the positive culture of spirituality, as well as embrace what are the more darker narratives of healing and how, some wounds, like Chiron, for example, they're there to be a constant and forever evolutionary reminder of I'm not supposed to heal this within myself. I'm supposed to give this as a gift to others. And it's the darker narrative. So, in this Venus star point, this Venus Cazimi, it's a Venus Cazimi in Libra, it's a Venus Cazimi in Scorpio. I want you to treat it as both. And I want you to realize that, this is not a time to be overly busy. I said today that October 19th was the day you're going to have those ideas really start to make sense. Right now I have a vision, but all the pieces are still not there. So give yourself some space, give yourself some time. Now, take that in retrospect as well. I am a Scorpio rising, right? So Libra Sun, Libra Venus, Libra, all that is putting me in the 12th house. So I'm in already natural. Before this, I'm already naturally in isolation. I'm already naturally there. So take that with a grain of salt. If you want to do more personal understandings and readings and healings, go ahead and reach out to me, get an astro therapy session, and I'll teach you how to read your own astrology chart so that you don't even need me again. All right. Thank you for your subscription. Thank you for your like. Thank you for your thumbs up. Hit that, baby. Thank you for the support. Drop a black heart for the Scorpio Eclipse. If you're still with me, rocking in the chat. All right. If you're even still here, okay, drop the black heart down in the chat and reach out. You know how. Love.